I know that the last 6 weeks have been some of the most difficult in Victorian history. As of this moment, more than 200 people have died in Victoria's second wave, with 170 of those occurring in nursing homes. It's fair to say that we failed these Victorians and their families. After seeing the situation evolve in New York, in Sweden, and even in Sydney, we needed to do more to protect our most vulnerable citizens. And from the bottom of my heart, I'm sorry that we couldn't. The situation evolved so rapidly, our most revered health experts and officials were, to some extent, flying blind. Whilst we've all endured immeasurable pain throughout stage 4 in Melbourne, we're still seeing between 20 and 200 new infections every day. And although I know we've all been doing our best, from the scientists and epidemiologists to the shelf stackers and cashiers, the fact that the vast majority of these new infections are occurring in Victorians aged between 14 and 40 years old does present us with an opportunity. With no harder measures left in our policy kit, it's an opportunity I believe we now have no choice but to take. Almost 3,000 people Australia-wide commit suicide every year, and there is no doubt that our current virus suppression methods are exacerbating that, even if we don't know by exactly how much. With our state now seeing approximately 1 death each day from COVID-19, the despair caused by this pandemic and the tragic but ultimately necessary lockdown and isolation measures are now seeing more Victorians taking their life every day than are passing away from the virus. Now, every government decision is a delicate balancing act, especially so when lives hang in the balance like they do right now. So with that in mind, I'm announcing a return to modified stage 3 restrictions statewide. Masks will remain compulsory in public and mass gatherings continue to be restricted, but businesses and workplaces are now free to open provided they meet and agree to enforce our COVID-safe requirements. We have flattened the curve. Now it's on us to keep it flat. I understand there are risks associated with this approach, serious risks, particularly for those with comorbidities and a few extra years on the clock, which is why I'm asking every single Victorian to treat their presence around our older or less healthy citizens as an imminent threat to their life, even if the virus is little threat to their own. It's on all of us to figure out how we can return to work and continue to reduce the risks of this virus in the community, and that's going to require a consistent, conscious effort well into the foreseeable future. In conjunction with the federal government, we'll be setting up Sunshine Hospital as a COVID-exclusive treatment and recovery centre. It's geographically central to the majority of Victoria's cases, close to many of our hardest hit aged care facilities, and with 600 beds, has the space to house those on the brink. The Australian Defence Force will take over federally regulated nursing homes from the top down. That's frontline nursing, administration services and quarantine facilities. We'll be getting the best PPE money can buy for our health professionals working in these areas to keep as many of them at their frontline posts as possible. And it's worth noting at this point that our fatality rate as a proportion of cases has fallen consistently since this crisis began. You have a better chance of surviving an encounter with the SARS-2 coronavirus right here in Victoria than just about anywhere else in the world, and our healthcare heroes should be proud of that. Although we're getting better at treating this thing therapeutically every day, make no mistake, it is still deadly. But this thing is worldwide and it's not going away, and any vaccine is still just a shimmer on the horizon at this point. Even though our fellow states might refuse to treat with us until we become like New Zealand, the rest of the world is getting back to work and it's time for Victorians to join them. I want to thank you all for the unbelievable resilience that you've displayed over these last couple of months. I never thought I'd be leading a Labor government telling Victorians not to go to work or to see their loved ones. And again, from the bottom of my heart, I am sorry for the pain that my government's actions have caused many of you. But we saved lives. That's a fact. We saved a lot of lives. We flattened the curve, which was the plan all along. And frankly, all that we can do now is keep our most vulnerable citizens well out of the line of fire while those of us who are able work out our new COVID normal in a world where just 2 viruses in all of human history have been eradicated. That's the reality, and unless we want a new epidemic of suicide, of drug use, of domestic violence and mental anguish, that's what must be done.